Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today I wanted to do a quick impressions video regarding the new introducing video from Total War, looking at the Dwarves, the Total War Warhammer. Now I know a lot of people have been hyped to see the Dwarves and the Vampire Count, so it looks like CA are now stepping up their marketing and video content for the Dwarves. Hopefully we'll get to see Vampire Count soon. But I wanted to give a impressions video and share a few thoughts about the Dwarves in Warhammer. Again, I am an absolute Warhammer noob, so all this is kind of information that I've gathered on a brief research trip to the interwebs. So I'm not the authority by a long shot. I'm sure some of you will be able to clarify some things for me in the comments. But the reason why I wanted to make an impressions video for the Dwarves is that by far out of all the sort of fantasy settings, of all the races and things like that, across most fantasy settings that is, Dwarves are certainly one of my favourites. I love that they're stout defensive warriors, that they have, they tunnel in their mountain kingdoms, create these vast defensive fortifications, often have pretty cool siege equipment and things like that. And what I've seen and what I've researched so far from the Dwarves, they look bloody awesome. Now, I've got the Creative Assemblies introducing video actually looping in the background right now that you can have a view of, and if you want to hear the developer commentary that goes with it, you can find it linked in the description. But what we get to see from their introducing video is obviously some concept art, some high polygon renders of some weapons, of a dwarf itself. You get some textured mail look as well. It looks really impressive. I don't know what it is, but I just love the detail of these of their armour. It's what I really enjoyed in the Third Age mod when I played as the Dwarves of Erebor. I really enjoyed that campaign. Really enjoyed zooming in on the battlefield. Even though the graphics aren't amazing on that game now, many years on since its release, the detail in the armour, it just looks awesome, and I'm hoping that's what we'll see in Warhammer, Total War Warhammer as well. Obviously, there's going to be some interesting mechanics, I would have thought, for the Dwarves. Tunnelling, and a lot of people have said, they're looking forward to seeing battles underground even. And that teaser that was released, a couple of weeks back, saw a dwarf running towards a dwarven gyrocopter and being chased by something that sounded like a screeching spider of some kind. So, looks like there'll be some kind of potential combat underground. So, I mean, with that, you've got, potentially 3 layers of battle. You've got aerial combat between wyverns, griffins, dragons, I guess, and all other sorts of things. You've got the land battles, which, we all know from previous Total Wars. And then you've got these kind of underground battles. Now, are they a separate battle itself? Or do you reckon that you could I wonder if you could potentially have an underground battle going on at the same time as there's a land battle, and then suddenly you pop out the side or something like that. I don't know. I think that might be pushing it too far, to be fair, kind of rendering almost 2 battles at the same time. But I wonder if there would ever be any kind of interaction between the underground battles and kind of the land-based battles on top. I wonder if there's any kind of interaction there. Maybe on the campaign map, certainly, between sort of the above-ground and below-ground sort of stuff. I wonder. Anyone else have those similar thoughts? Feel free to share with me. But that's one of the prevalent things I'm looking forward to when we do eventually get to have a look at the campaign map to see how all the different races and factions actually work, because obviously dwarves, underground cities, or cities built into mountains, I'd have thought. Big old fortifications. Whereas obviously, empire cities on the map, quite normal there. But yes, I wonder if there's going to be any kind of interaction with tunnels and that sort of thing there. I do remember in Rome Total War, you actually had the ability to tunnel, wasn't it, into walls to make them fall down? I wonder if there's anything like that could be brought in potentially. But maybe that's for future Total War titles and beyond, or just way beyond what the engine can currently cope with. We've also got some animation shown in that looping introduction video, which looks pretty cool. Looks like you might have an area of effect attack with that hammer smash, and you could, well, I don't know if you could have the area effect with the axe swing around. It looks like it's just taking down one little goblin there. But they look impressive as well, and the armour and the detail looks like it's coming along really nicely. But one of the key things with dwarves in Warhammer are their war machines. So they're their master engineers. I mean, they made, if I've got this right, I hope I have, they made the steam tanks, which the Empire have a few of. And obviously in the Battle of Blackfire Pass gameplay demo that we saw, there was a steam tank present there. So, I mean, looking at the tabletop, they've got things like the organ gun, cannons, flame cannons, gyrocopters, which we saw a glimpse of in the teaser a couple of weeks back, which is essentially a steam-powered helicopter with a small cannon on the front, which sounds perfectly dwarven. I like that kind of sort of a mantra that the dwarves could have would be, if it hasn't got a cannon on it, strap a cannon on, then it's better. Like, how can you improve something that we've made? Strap a cannon to it. That sounds like the dwarven way to me. In Warhammer, they've also got something called a grudge thrower and a bolt thrower. That sounds like a ballista or something like that, and a grudge thrower sounds like a catapult. But yes, notable kind of heroes. Well, Creative Assembly released on Reddit a little piece about the current hiking of the dwarves, Thorgrim Grudgebearer, and I'll quickly read out what that says about him to give you a bit of a biography of Thorgrim. Thorgrim Grudgebearer is the current High King of the Dwarves. He is a throwback to the High Kings of old, eager for new conquests, mighty in battle, and a merciless enemy. Yet upon his worn brow there also sits a great wisdom, and he is able to uphold the ancient traditions as well as accept, if not embrace, needed changes such as alliances and new technology. Thorgrim is forever brooding upon how to return his people to their former glory. As the ultimate ruler of the dwarves, the Great Book of Grudges is entrusted into his keeping. It is Thorgrim's avowed wish to avenge every single entry contained in that voluminous tome, an impossible task if he should live 1,000 lifetimes. Yet such is his resolve that he has already helped to rejuvenate the whole of Karaz Angkor. Tales of his deeds and the long list of grudges already struck out fill his grim warriors with a feeling that the dwarves have long done without hope. Born upon the throne of power and brandishing the axe of Grimnir, Thorgrim is at the forefront of what the dwarves hope will be a great conquering. A new age of retribution has begun. My apologies if I said any of that wrong. I've got loads new pronunciation fails with Warhammer in general to contend with, so that won't change in between now and then, I doubt, but I'll do my best. Just wanted to mention from that biography, though, that CA posted on Reddit about Thorgrim Grudgebearer, talking about the Thorgrim understanding the need for change for the dwarves, such as alliances and new technology. New technology, obviously, hopefully that means we'll see some cool war machines, some of them that I mentioned that I found from the tabletop earlier in this video, but also about alliances. Now, it seems almost like it's the staple for dwarves in a fantasy setting that at some point they don't get on with elves, and I think it was the War of Vengeance is a war between the dwarves and elves, the high elves, that's happened within the Warhammer fantasy lore. So they haven't been the best of friends. I think something to do with trading caravans being attacked or raiding or something like that. Anyway, my lore is not up to scratch there, so I won't delve too much into that. I'm sure someone may comment with a full history down below. But that could be interesting. I wonder if that potentially creates some sort of dynamic effect, whether it be like, I don't know, events popping up, another war with the elves or something like that, or maybe there'll be objectives to try and pursue better relations with other factions, perhaps. Anyway, that just about wraps up my impressions for the dwarves that's sort of been stirred up from the new introduction video, or introducing video from CA. So you can find the full introducing video down in the comments below, with the developer commentary to it, if you want to hear what CA are saying about the Dwarven Axe and Hammer units. And they also teased within this introducing video that a full trailer is coming soon, so I assume that's perhaps more like the Carl Franz trailer rather than more gameplay demos, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, more is coming, it would seem, for the dwarves very soon. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share your thoughts on the dwarves down below. But until next time, don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. Follow my Facebook and Twitter, take pride and join the Legion. Check out my affiliates and sponsors, XMG, Greenman Gaming and GG Omega Racing. All links are in the description. Until next time, ciao for now.